Revolving door fight is a term I use to describe the type of team battle where characters are tagging in and out of the fight. Examples are everyone vs Nappa, everyone vs Frieza, everyone vs Sensui, everyone vs Shishio, Konoha vs Team Dozu, Fairy Tail vs Laxus, Fairy Tail vs Hades, Black Bulls vs Veto, and everyone vs Sukuna. In this video, I'll be analyzing the advantages of these fights. Revolving doors are a subset of team fights. Usually, it's a group of heroes fighting against one strong villain. Team fights' main strength is that they hype up the villain's strength because the heroes need to band together to defeat them. The first advantage that revolving doors have over basic team fights is the individual spotlight and shine. In a team fight, everyone is working together, but in an RDF, each character gets to take on the final boss in a 1v1 or 2v1. They get to show off on their own, even if it's short-lived. How well their spotlight is handled varies. Here are some good examples. In the Frieza fight, Vegeta got to handle base Frieza, Gohan got to handle Frieza, Piccolo got to handle Frieza, and Goku got to handle Frieza. All of the fighters got their own spotlight, whether they were slapping the final boss around or fighting on par with him. In Fairy Tail vs Hades, Laxus got the chance to 1v1 Hades, and then Natsu got his solo fight too. In Everyone vs Sukuna, Gojo, Kashimo, Maki, Kusakabe, Yuji, and Gojuda all got their chance to 1v1 the King of Curses. All of them eventually lost except for the last fighter, but they at least got their chance to look good with the spotlight only on them. The next advantage that RDFs have is losing. If Naruto lost to Pain at the end of the arc, it would be game over. If Luffy lost to Lucci at the end of the arc, game over. If Ichigo lost to Byakuya, game over. RDFs allow the hero to lose without automatically ending the arc in defeat because other heroes tag in. The first advantage of allowing the hero to lose is that it hypes up the villain. They were such a dangerous force that they beat the heroes. Teaming up already shows how dangerous they are, but actually defeating a hero is a higher level of intimidating. RDFs provide a safe environment for the hero to lose in an important fight. The second advantage of losing is that it allows the hero to come back into the fight after recovering and eventually beat the villain. It's almost too good to be true. You get to show off the power of the villain by having the hero lose, but then you also get to make the hero ultimately beat the villain. Here are some of the best examples of handling loss. In Everyone vs Sensui, Yusuke is actually killed by Sensui. While his friends take over, he has enough time to come back to life and return to the fight even stronger, beating the final boss in a 1v1. The final boss killed the main character. In Everyone vs Shishio, Kenshin loses to the final boss, so the three allies take turns losing to the villain, before Kenshin finally recovers to end the fight himself. In Fairy Tail vs Laxus, Mystigan starts with a solo fight, but he passes the baton to Natsu, who then gets destroyed. Then Urza takes the baton. After she sacrifices herself, Natsu solos Laxus, then Gajeel makes it a 2v1, and then Natsu crosses the finish line in a 1v1. In the Black Bulls vs Veto, Veto washes Gio, then he washes Magda and Luck in a 2v1. Then he wins another 2v1 against Austin Kyoto. Then he wins another against Kyoto and Kahono. Then he almost beats Noel before being interrupted by a 3v1 that spells his defeat. He won 5 fights before being taken down, and also was allowed to be one of his victims. In the Sukuna fight, Yuji and Higuruma get to 2v1 Sukuna, but the lawyer is eliminated from the fight, leaving Yuji alone. Yuta shows up and creates another 2v1, but both of them are eventually incapacitated, so Maki takes over. When she's beaten, Kusakabe takes over. When he's beaten, some side characters assist with Yuji and Maki back in battle. Eventually, Yuji starts soloing like his life depends on it. Toto shows up for a 2v1, then Gojudo appears for a solo fight, and finally it turns back to a 1v1 between Yuji and Sukuna. Here, the final boss beat all of the strongest characters in either 2v1s or 1v1s. Gojo, Yuta, Yuji, and Maki were no match individually, but Yuji was still allowed to prevail. This last one can be a pro or con depending on the context. This features that the fights typically last longer than a team fight, since each character takes turns fighting rather than all at once. If the fights aren't paced properly, this can result in a fight that feels too long. But if it's the final fight in the entire story, it might have the right to be that long, like Everyone vs Sukuna. In conclusion, revolving door fights have the advantage of showing how strong the final boss is because the heroes need teamwork. It allows characters to get their individual shine. It allows heroes, especially the protagonists, to lose without ending the story. And it allows the protagonist to eventually come back to finish the job. They can also result in longer fights. Ignoring tactics, my favorite examples of RDFs are the Black Bulls vs Veto and the Sorcerers vs Sukuna. They really highlighted the advantages of Spotlight and allowing the protagonist to lose and then win.